The rain came down in sheets that day. It was the kind of sudden summer downpour that makes the whole city smell like wet pavement and fresh earth. I ducked into the nearest doorway, which happened to belong to a little bookstore called The Last Word. It was cozy inside, filled with the quiet rustle of turning pages and the comforting scent of old paper. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, just a place to wait out the storm. My fingers traced the spines of well-loved classics and new releases, each one a tiny world waiting to be discovered. Sometimes the best moments are the ones you don't plan for at all. I was in the poetry aisle, my head tilted as I read a title upside down. That's when he appeared. He was reaching for the same book I was looking at, a collection by Mary Oliver. Our hands brushed just for a second, and it felt like a tiny spark of electricity. He had kind eyes, the color of warm honey, and a smile that made a little crinkle appear next to them. "Oh, sorry," he said, his voice soft and a little shy. "You can have it." I shook my head and smiled back. "No, you go ahead," I insisted. I was just browsing. It was a small moment, but it felt significant, like a secret whispered between us. He took the book, but he didn't walk away. Instead, he stood there, his thumb gently running over the cover. "It's one of my favorites," he said, almost to himself. Her words they make you see the world differently. I nodded, understanding completely. We talked for a few more minutes, about poetry and rainy days and the magic of bookstores. It wasn't a long conversation, but it felt like we had known each other for a much longer time. The way he listened, really listened, made me feel seen. He introduced himself as Liam, and I told him my name was Maya. Then, just as quickly as it started, the moment was over. The rain had softened to a gentle drizzle and the sun was beginning to peek through the clouds. Liam had to go. He gave me one last, lingering smile before he walked out the door, the little bell above it chiming softly. I stood there for a moment, holding on to the feeling of our brief connection. I didn't even know his last name, or if I would ever see him again. But as I watched him disappear into the newly washed city, a part of me hoped I would. It was a feeling I wanted to hold on to, like a pressed flower in a favorite book. A few weeks later, my friend dragged me to a new art exhibit downtown. I wasn't really in the mood for it, but I went anyway. The gallery was bright and modern, with huge white walls covered in vibrant bursts of color. I wandered away from the crowd, drawn to a quiet corner with a series of photographs. They were stunning shots of the city, capturing ordinary moments in a way that made them feel extraordinary. There was one of a rain-streaked window, looking out onto a blurred street. It reminded me of that day at the bookstore, and a small bittersweet pang went